Today, we are going to analyze the lesson number 4, that is supply analysis. In this particular chapter, we are going to see introduction part, concept of total output, stock and supply schedule, determinants of demand, law of supply. In law of supply, introduction, assumption, exception, as well as supply schedule, variations in supply, changes in supply, concept of cost and revenue. Second important thing I wanted to tell you all, that determinants of supply. Determinants of supply. This particular point is there for your self-study. Determinants of supply is there for your self-study part. I hope I was clear. Now, before we actually start with the chapter, we will go through the introduction part. What does the introduction say us? Introduction tells us about the supply. It tells us that as the concept of demand was very important, in the same way, supply is also important. Supply is important because it is a fundamental economic concept. Now, what is the meaning of fundamental? The word fundamental means that it is very important element upon which other things depend. To understand how our economy functions, we need to understand the concept of supply. It also describes total amount of specific goods or services that is available to seller. So in short, means supply means total amount of goods or services available for sale at any specific price is known as supply. You have only 3 terms to understand the meaning of supply. The total amount of goods and services available for sale, okay, at a specific price is known as supply. Ahead, I would like to tell you all the difference between demand and supply, because without knowing the difference, we can't study the further concept. For any functioning of an economy, again I'm telling you, for any functioning of an economy, 2 factors plays a very important role, especially in the market. These 2 people are, first one is a consumer, okay, second one is a producer. What do consumer do? Consumer consumes the product. And what do producers do? Producer produces a particular goods or services. Okay, what do consumer, this we have studied from the demand point of view, whereas producer is from the supply point of view. We got to know what is demand, what is the relationship between consumer when is demanding a particular commodity, at what price a consumer purchase what quantity of goods, right? For example, when price increases, what will be the quantity consumed by the consumer, more or less? It will be, quantity will be more. Exactly correct. If price is more, consumer will be purchasing more or less product. Yes, Joel. Consumer will be purchasing less product. This shows what type of relationship between direct or indirect relationship, direct or indirect relationship. When price increases, quantity demanded by the consumer decreases. This is direct or inverse relationship. Yes, it is a inverse relationship. Second important thing I would tell you now, this was from the consumer's point of view, right? Now from the producer's point of view, it is exactly opposite. When the price of the product increases, producers supply more commodity. Producers supply more commodity. This type of relationship is direct or inverse, direct or opposite. When price increases, supply increases. What you will call it as direct or indirect relationship? Direct, yes, Preeti. It is called as Jigna. Yes, it is called as direct relationship. Why it is, and secondly, y'all can tell me the reason why sub producers sell more commodity when price is more. You think now this particular chapter y'all are going to analyze, they get the profit. Exactly correct, Joy. Because to earn more revenue and more profit, supplier sell more product even at higher price. When price is less, supplier sell less. You want to increase the supply and profit. Exactly correct, Ojas. Now this thing we understood about what the thing is opposite. One last thing I want to tell you related to demand. If you understand this concept, no, you will be able to write whatever question examiner is asking you on. Now this is on y-axis. What do we take? On y-axis, what do we take? Can anyone tell me? And on, yes, on y-axis we take price. Exactly correct. And on x-axis, what do we take? Quantity demanded. Exactly correct. The same diagram is there for demand and same is there for supply. One confusion sorted. Now tell me, what is the relationship between price and quantity demanded from the demand point of view, from the consumer's point of view? What is the relationship between price and quantity demanded from consumer's point of view? Yes, correct. When price increases, quantity demand decreases and vice versa. Okay, when price increases, so what is the sloping curve? DD curve slopes downward or upwards? DD curve slopes downward or upwards? When price decreases, quantity demand increases. Demand curve slopes downward or upward? At 10 rupees, waiting for your response. Quantity demanded was 20. At 20 rupees, answer is correct. The demand curve is downward sloping, Joy. Because when price goes on decreasing, quantity demand goes on increasing. So it is downward sloping from demand point of view. Now we will see supply. In supply, price is taken on y-axis, quantity demand is taken on x-axis. When price increases, quantity demand increases. When price decreases, quantity demand decreases. So this will be what? Upward or downward sloping? Upward sloping, exactly correct. They go together at this, okay? Exactly correct. This is from the supply point of view. This is from the supply point of view. Now, I took this part in the introduction part because I just wanted to see whether you are aware about the previous knowledge or not. I'm very happy that you answered me. You all answered me correctly. Again, I will tell you the introduction part tells us that total amount of goods or services available for sale at any specific price is known as supply. Moving ahead, now we are going to analyze the total concept, okay, total output, stock, and supply. Now, what is total output? Total, the word total means the sum. Okay, the word total means the sum, whereas the word output means the amount of something produced by a person. So what is the meaning of total output? The sum of total product produced by the producer. For example, any machinery, any cloth, it can be also called as the finished product, the final product. It can be also called as the final product. Here is the definition of it. Output is produced in the process of production. You have to write the definition in double inverted comma. Total output can be defined as sum total of the quantity of the commodity produced at a given period of time in the economy. Now, this is the entire economy. Now, this entire chapter, you need to analyze from the producer's point of view. You are a producer. What you will do as a rational producer? How will you react? What will be your behavior? What will be your concept? Now, what is total output? Total output means total production. Okay. Next, production leads to consumption. Now, you as a producer have produced the commodity. Why do you produce a commodity? For yourself to eat? For, for whom do you produce the commodity? For the consumers to sell the product. Exactly correct. So production leads to consumption. Production leads to consumption. Now, what is the process of production? How will a production of a particular goods and services take place? Production means when we put land, all the factors of production, land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. With the help of these four factors of production, we start producing a commodity as a producer. When we include all of this, a finished product is produced. So, in a process of production, inputs are converted into output or a final product or a final good. Again, I repeat myself, total output means total production taken place under that producer. Okay, total output can be defined as sum of total quantity of the commodity produced at a given period of time in the economy. Whatever inputs are there that have been converted into output of final product. Suppose we will take one example of cloth. Cloth is a total output. Okay, 10 pieces of shirt is a total output. For that, we need land on which factory will be built. We need labor who will be working during the production process. We require raw material, okay, like cloth. We require capital, machinery, and obviously we require entrepreneur that will be there in the form of producer. These are our inputs. If we include all of this, during the process of production, then a final product is produced. That is a total output. Okay, I hope the thing is clear. Shirt, book, pen, car, bike, whatever final product is there, finished product is there, is called as total output. Moving ahead, now this chapter is also important. They might ask you difference between total output stock, total output supply. Okay, now what is stock? The word stock means, you have heard about warehouse. You have heard about warehouse? Yes. So what do we have as a producer? As a producer, we have produced the product. We have got the total output. Okay? We have got the total output. Now from this total output, we can divide. This total output is a stock. Why it is a stock? Stock means the quantity or goods kept aside for the future use. A product that is kept as a stock and thus available for sale in the future. Okay. Now this total output we can use it as a stock. We can even use it as a supply. But first will be a stock. Because if we don't keep our product in the warehouse, will it be available for supply? Yes or no? It won't be available for supply, right? So total output, after producing a product, we keep those products in the form of stock in the warehouses. Now, what is the meaning of stock? Stock is a total quantity. Stock is a total quantity of the commodity available for sale with the seller at a particular point of time. Stock is the total quantity of a commodity available for sale with the seller at a particular point of time. It is a potential supply. Now, what is the meaning of potential? It is a source of supply, because without stock, a person can't supply a particular commodity. It is a potential supply. The word potential supply means stock, that is the base of supply. It consists the potential or total supply of commodity that can be offered for sale at a favorable time. So in short, stock is a potential supply, because it is that commodity that will be available for sale with a seller at a particular point of time. Now, a few important things I want to tell you about this stock is that when the production increases, when our production increases, our total output will increase, right? When our total output is increasing, our stock will also increase. Yes or no? Second important thing, yes. Second important thing, this is the first thing. When our production increases, our stock increases. Second, without stock, supply is not possible. We cannot supply any commodity without stock. So it is a chain, like total output, whatever production took place, whatever final product is there, that has been kept as the stock, and whatever stock are there, from that some quantity are being used for supply. Okay. Now we have two types of goods in a market. First one is durable good. Another one is durable good, like this you can see in the picture, and perishable goods. Durable goods and perishable goods. Durable goods means it lasts for long. Perishable goods means it gets spoiled or it gets rotten after a few hours or a few after a certain time. Day, 1 day, 2 day, 3 day. Okay, if we have not kept it properly. So in case of durable good, stock can be more than supply. In case of durable good, stock can be more than supply. Why stock can be more than supply? Because the things will not get spoiled. But in case of perishable goods like fruits, vegetables, egg, milk, meat, what are these? These are the perishable goods. In case of perishable goods, stock will be equal to supply. Why? Because whatever product we have got in the form of total output, the entire thing will be there in the stock, and the producer have to clear this stock as soon as possible. If the producer is not able to clear this stock as soon as possible, then the product will get spoiled and the producer won't be able to sell the commodity and he will face the loss, right? So stock total, again I will recap, total output is a stock. Whatever our stock is there, that is our supply. Stock means total quantity of commodity available for sale with the seller at a particular point of time. Second important thing, stock can be more than supply. We have two types of product in the market, durable and perishable. In case of durable product, stock can be more than supply. In case of perishable product, stock will be equal to supply. Okay? And finally, stock. I hope the concept is clear. If yes, then reply as Y in the chat box, students. Okay, moving ahead now. Supply. What is supply? Supply is a relative term. Supply is a relative term. Relative means what? Where we can relate one variable to another variable. So over here, we are going to obviously relate price. Any guesses, students? Price with, we can relate price. Very good, Aniket, Niranjan, Jigna. Price with quantity demanded and with time. So supply is a relative term. It is relative term because it is always expressed in relation to price, quantity and time. For example, at 10 rupees, a producer supplied 10 units of commodity X at this particular time. Clear how it is related? Moving ahead now. Next, the word supply implies the various quantities of commodity offered for sale by producer during a given period of time at a given price. Just now I said it is related to time and price. Supply is a flow concept. Why it is a flow concept, students? Because it, whatever stock is there, whatever stocks are available with us, from that particular stock, we take out some quantity for this supply as a producer, and that quantity which we keep as a supply, those quantity we go on supplying in the market. So it is a flow concept, it is a running concept. We can't hold this. It refers to the amount of commodity. In short, it refers to the amount of commodity that a firm produces and offers for sale in the market over a period of time. I hope the term supply is clear. After our lecture, this is the first homework for you. Distinguish between stock and supply. Okay? Distinguish between stock and supply. Moving ahead now. Definition of supply. Definition is given by Paul Samuelson. You have to write the definition in double inverted comma. Supply refers to relation between market price and the amount of goods producers are willing to supply. In short, it is a relationship between price, amount of goods that the producer, amount means quantity, that a producer is willing to supply, wants to supply. Supply refers to quantity of a commodity that a seller is willing and able to offer for sale at a given price during a certain period of time. For example, a farmer total output, a farmer TO means total output. A farmer's total output of rice is 4,000 kgs. After harvesting, after doing the agriculture activity, he produced his final production, his total output was of 4,000 kilo of rice. Out of this 4,000 kilo of rice, this total is his stock. As I already told you, whatever the total output is there, that will be our stock. So the entire 4,000 kg is our stock. Now at this particular time, the price of 1 kg of rice is rupees 40. So a producer wants to supply 1,000. So how much more quantity or how much more kg the producer is having in the form of stock? Can you all tell me? Can you all tell me, if a producer is willing, if a producer wants to supply only 1,000 kilo out of 400 kilo or 4,000 kilo, yes, correct, Joy. 3,000 kg will be the stock remaining near him. He will start another production activity and he will be supplying one by one, one by one. He will be removing stock and he will be supplying. I hope the content is clear. If you have any doubt, you can raise your hand. Okay, moving ahead. At the last, we will have a quick evaluation session. Okay. Now, supply schedule. We have two types of supply schedule. First one is individual supply schedule and another one is market supply schedule. Now, what is schedule? First thing is schedule. Both the pronunciations are correct. Now, a supply schedule is a tabular representation. You can see it is a table form. A schedule is a tabular representation of a functional relationship. Functional relationship means what, student? I already told you that where one variable is paired with another variable. Suppose over here, it is a functional relationship of price. It is a functional relationship of price and quantity supplied. Okay. Price and quantity supplied. A supply schedule is a tabular representation. It is there in the table format, which tells us a functional relationship between price and quantity supplied of a particular commodity. Of a commodity means only one commodity. Only one commodity. So, functional relationship at rupees 10, quantity at rupees 20, quantity supplied was 200 kg. At rupees 30, quantity supplied 300 kg. At rupees 40, quantity supplied 400 kg. At rupees 50, quantity supplied 500 kg. So what is this? This is a functional relationship. This is the functional relationship where one variable is paired exactly with its another variable. One is taken on y-axis, another is taken on x-axis. I hope the meaning supply schedule is clear. I was telling the meaning of supply schedule. Okay. Now, what is individual supply schedule? Individual supply schedule refers to a tabular representation showing various quantities of a commodity that a producer is willing to sell at a various price during a given period of time. Now, for example, over here in this supply schedule, we are going to study from one producer's point of view. Suppose I, Shivangi, is a producer. This is my supply schedule as an individual supply schedule. Okay. After writing the meaning, you have to draw this table where you have to mention two things. Price of a commodity X means one, and because we are not mentioning a name of the commodity, that is why we are mentioning X over here in rupees per kg. Supply of commodity X in kg at rupees 10, 100 was the quantity. Then you have to explain, you have to draw the diagram. On y-axis, you have to draw xy axis. On y-axis, you're going to measure the quantity. On x-axis, you're going to measure the price. Okay. 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 So after writing the meaning of individual supply schedule. Individual supply schedule refers to a tabular representation showing various quantities of a commodity that a producer is willing to sell at various price during a period of time. After that, you have to draw the table. You have to explain the table that it explains the functional relationship between price and quantity supplied of a commodity. Lower the price, lower the price, lower is the quantity demanded. Higher the price, higher is the quantity demanded. It shows the direct relationship between price and quantity supplied. At lowest price rupees 10, supply is lowest at 100. You can see in this particular diagram. At the highest price rupees 50, quantity supplied is 500 kgs. So this shows us the direct relationship between price and quantity supplies. When price decreases, quantity supply decreases. When price increases, quantity supply also increases. Okay, after writing this, you have to draw the diagram. You have to plot the locus. Okay, at rupees 10, 100 kg, at rupees 20, 200 kg, at rupees 30, 300 kg, at rupees 40, 400 kg, at rupees 50, 500 kg. Then you have to join the points. This will be your SS curve. SS curve is upward or downward sloping. SS curve is, supply curve is upward or downward sloping? It is upward sloping from left to right, because it shows that when price increases, quantity supply also increases. Then second type is of market supply schedule. Now, what is market supply schedule? It is the total market supply. Suppose I am one producer A, Joel will be producer B, okay, Pramila will C. Okay, what we are doing at at rupees 10, I am able to sell 100 kilo, B seller is able to sell 200 kilo, and C seller is able to sell 300 kilo. So you have to add all this three, and what will be the answer? 600. So you have to take the total. You have to take the total. At rupees 10, market supply was 600 kilo. At rupees 20, market supply 900 kg. At rupees 30, market supply 1200 kilo. At rupees 40, market supply 1500 kg. At rupees 50, market supply 1800 kilo. So this shows that when price increases, quantity supplied also increases. Okay. After drawing this table, you have to write down that market supply is obtained by adding the supply of seller A, B, C at different price. Then you have to draw the market supply curve. It is market supply curve. It is market supply schedule. Schedule means tabular representation, and this one is graphical representation. Market supply curve is a graphical representation. Two different terms are there. Okay. At 10, 600. At rupees 20, 900 kg. In the same way, you all are going to plot. You all are going to join the line. It is upward sloping from left to right, and it shows the direct relationship between price and market supply. Am I clear till here? Am I clear till here? If yes, then why? One more homework you have. You have to draw a supply curve with the help of hypothetical supply schedule. Hypothetical supply schedule means what? You have to draw, write your own numbers. Okay. You are going to do this from individual point of view as well, and from the market supply point of view as well. Draw the table, draw the diagram, explain the table, and finish it off. Okay. I hope your homework is also clear. Huh? Next, determinants of supply. This part is kept for self-study. That means we can ask you all this concept for your internal examination. Okay, we have total 8 determinants of supply. Price of commodity, price increases, supply increases, price decreases, supply decreases. State of technology, if we have good technology, then price of the production will be less, and more product we can produce. Cost of production, if a factor price increases, the cost of production also increases. Suppose the rent of land increased, obviously the cost of production increased. Infrastructure facilities, if we have good infrastructure facilities, then our production will be more, like proper storage facility, transportation, communication. If our infrastructure facility is not good, then what will happen? We will face loss. A supply will be less. Government policy, if we have from a producer's point of view, if we have favorable government policy, then we will get more and more opportunity to earn more profit. natural condition, like so for example flood, natural disaster, if it has taken place, then we will face loss. Okay, if we are facing loss, a supply will decrease, a profit margin will decrease, a price will also be less.
कोथिंबीर नसेल घरात काय सोनी कोथिंबीर आहे घरात
Okay. Expectation about the price. If a producer feels that in near future price will increase, what he will do? He will keep more and more commodity in the form of stock, and then in future where actually price rises, where he will get more margin to earn profit, he will supply. Other factors like prices of substitute, export import, industry relationship. This part is a self study part. Then too I have given you the glimpse of it. Do revise, do read. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in the upcoming session. Next important thing is of the law of supply. Law of supply is a fundamental principle. What is fundamental? I already told you. The word fundamental means important, important part, important element. A principle of economic theory. Law of supply is as important as law of demand. This law of supply was been proposed or introduced by Professor Alfred Marshall in his book Principle of Economics, published in the year 1890. The law explains the functional relationship between price and quantity supplied. I also told you the meaning of functional. Functional means where we have pairing of one relation to another relation, x and x to y. Okay. Statement of law. Other things being constant. Other things means technology, cost of production, infrastructure, facility, government policy, natural condition, export, import, okay, nature of market. What these are included as other things, and these things are assumed to be as constant, that there will be no changes in any of the determinants other than price. Higher the price, ha- higher the price, higher will be, more will be the quantity supplied. Lower the price, less will be the quantity supplied. This is a direct relationship between price and quantity supplied. Symbolically, it can be written as capital S, small x is equal to F, open the bracket, capital P and small x, close the bracket. Then you have to explain. S will stand for, any guesses students? S will stand for, S will stand for, S will stand for, S will stand for supply. Small x means commodity X. Yes. Equal to, F will stand for functional. Relationship between P for price. Yes, Chigna, correct. P for price and X is for quantity, price of commodity X. Okay, I hope the content is clear till here. Tomorrow we will continue with law of supply. Before we continue, you will be giving me introduction and statement of law. Thank you.